My thumbnail game is terrible. I gotta.
You used to be the man for thumbnails.
I did, and you know what? I gave up slightly, but it's all right. I'm gonna fix that. We'll fix that soon,
I might need to be your thumbnail guy coming up.
dude. You might. I mean,
I'm
how you
telling you,
know?
man, that Leonardo AI, it's it's great.
Well,
Like
I
I said,
used to.
you put it on the flow state,
Hmm.
and it just gives you like you just type in a prompt in a flow state, and you just scroll till you like something.
Hmm.
It's I mean it's great. You don't have to hardly do any work to do that.
Wow. Well, I used to use Instagram to make my thumbnails, and they took away the ability to save and download pictures off of Instagram. It was so annoying, and I don't know why they did that. So, anyways, we are back, folks. I think we're switching screens now, though,
Yeah,
right?
how
Does
does
it
this
look like
sound?
it's
We sound good now. I want to apologize to everyone who showed up to the last one that it was complete trash because it was my microphone. It was not Brian. We're blaming Brian, and it was me the whole time.
It's all right. It's all right. We forgive though. We move forward because we're Christians. It does look like it's switching. It looks like it's
Yeah,
switching.
it's
I think we're
working
good.
now.
Yeah, so the audio should be good. Now it should be back to Brian's audio being really loud and annoying, how it normally is. Like, the usual.
Yeah, we'll get it to where like our levels are perfect, and then Brian will get excited and he'll scream directly into the microphone.
That's just how I go, guys. You know the usual. I get excited and then I just can't help it because
Mm.
well today I'm really excited to share with you guys some very cool stuff. Bam! I got a separate camera set up for this so that way you guys can be taken along the journey as we go because we're going to be looking at this, which is the Freemason Bible, as well as this. My antique dealer friend gave me this epic little nugget of history that I think you guys are going to love to look at because when you see what this is, I don't know if those, can you guys see that? Let me try to get my camera so I can see what I'm looking
Yeah,
at.
the only problem now is you're laggy. I don't think you can blame that on me or my kids.
Okay, all right, it's all right. This is the Masonic parallels with history, a chronology of general and Masonic history. Chronology.
Mm-hmm.
Serving. Okay, it says Maryland, Silver Springs. Which, by the way, just so you guys know, this is not like an actual book. This is not. This is like a handout kind of book that the Masons give to the other Masons about their belief. Okay, this is what they give them when they want, and so like there's not a lot of information, but there's dates and stuff, and we're gonna go over this. This is the narrative that the world has been fed. Okay, so this is what everyone in the world. This is our history. These are the fools that gave us our history, guys. This is it.
These are the people who wrote the lies that have been agreed upon, right? And so,
Yep. These.
Brian, is it
Mm-hmm.
true that this is the book they give them after they get out of the coffin naked after they get the bowling ball?
Yes, probably. This is the book that they get handed as a Mason, and you have to know your history. They tell you know thy history, and this is what they're given. And this is such a fascinating book. The last print iteration of this was from 1981, I believe was the last iteration date in this book. And we're going to go through some of these dates and examine them because these dates are so fascinating. Again, we're talking about the Freemason lies that gave us the history that we have today. Okay, so like our calendar, for those that don't already know, is balarchy. It is trash. Okay, our calendar is not anything. Can everybody see me, by the way, or is it frozen on you still, JT?
Oh no, I'm seeing the book. No, I'm watching the live
Okay.
stream.
All right. Cool. Sweet. So what's going to happen is they were given these Freemasons kind of controlled everything up to a certain point, and then sort of lost some of their control of things. But there's a few things in this. This is a Bible, a Masonic Bible. We're going to read some of the stuff from this so we can better know what it is that we actually believe. And this thing has got some weird witch voodoo stuff in there. I don't know. That's a satanic demonic thing. Guys, I want to recommend you guys keeping demonic stuff around. I'm invulnerable to this because I pray to the Lord and He's like showed me. But for the most part, maybe not the best idea to keep this kind of stuff around, like, because it's probably pretty bad. So this is whoever this is to. I don't know. Whatever. Authorized King James version. It says. Can you see that, JT?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a lot of like demonic stuff in here that you'll notice. But anyways, it says compromising the Old and New Testament with the words of Jesus, printed in red and self-pronounced of all proper names, self-punctuation of all proper names. Okay, with articles of history, with articles on the history and philosophy of Masonry and the alphabetical dictionary of Masonic knowledge. This is why we like this one, because this will give us a key to some of the lies that they've been putting in our world. And notice these symbolism all around here, guys. Notice all these symbolism. Okay, like that's a pentagram. That's also called the Eastern Star, the Order of the Eastern Star. That's the women Freemasonry stuff. This is the double-headed eagle. For those that don't know, that's the double-headed eagle. That's also the Mar-Lago place that Trump has. This is the square and compass. This is the Rosicrucians symbol right here with the rose and the cross. This one is. These are all different things. These are the Shriners, which they have the sword and the moon, which is also, connected to Muslim understanding. Here's the square and the compass.
Can you
Right
bring that
there
a
is
little
the
closer
compass.
to the camera because it's harder to see all the details?
Yeah. We'll bring this up so you guys can see what all these symbols are. But the main one is the square and compass, the G. And you can see some of this stuff right here. There we go. So yeah, there's a lot of different symbols. These are all related things. And it says there's an interesting text related to this. It says, honorary member of Supreme Council, Grand Inspector General, ancient accepted Scottish Rite for the Northern Masonic jurisdiction of the United States of America and past sovereign princes, Prince of Chicago, Council of Princes of Jerusalem. Did you see that right there? I think that's important to note. Notice how, I don't know if you can read that, Princes of Jerusalem. So the AASR. So it's very fascinating because as we go into this, you'll realize that for those that haven't figured out that the people that wear the little funny hats control the world, they are very much tethered to these guys. Okay? So for those that don't know, the Freemasons are kind of like the arm of the Jewish hat wearing, the small hat people will say. We'll just say the small hat people. So this is like the arm of them. So
Well, Brian,
their
wouldn't you just say that Freemasonry, Gnosticism, Kabbalah, they're really only just different shades of the same thing?
They are, but they're different parts. I would say as well. So I would say like the Kabbalah is more like the head. The Masonry is more like the arm. Judaism is more like the face. And it's like the present, like it's presented in a certain way, right? So like there's different parts of this same system of control that basically all works together in circumvented offices, but they're all controlled ultimately by demons, and they all use brainwashing tactics and things that are pretty terrible. But they're all the same, but they're connected, and they veer off in their own little ways a little bit. But for the most part, the main head of the whole thing is the Kabbalistic sect, and above that, I would just say are sick individuals that worship demons that are very, very wealthy. So yeah, that's kind of how I would put it. I don't know how if you would agree or disagree, but like whatever.
Obviously some of this stuff is really hard to pin down, so I don't disagree. I don't have enough information to understand it all.
Yeah, nobody does. They keep it that way on purpose. It says, now in every age, in every clime, in nearly every nation, certainly in each of those which has reared itself above and beyond brute condition into some of civilization. Now, again, remember brute condition. Just for you guys know, if you've watched my other videos where I talk about brute beasts, this is again alluding to brute condition, meaning the state of not being fully human, into some form of civilization. There have appeared those whose tendencies have been to follow the instinctive yearnings for higher ideals, for loftier purposes. That's kind of suspicious. For purer thoughts, for greater understanding, seekers of the light, sometimes in numbers, frequently a small group, more often alone, they have constituted the saving force in a corrupt and otherwise godless world. But again, we don't know. Their God is not the same God that we believe in. Their God is obviously Satan. But we'll get into that here in a second in more detail. Directed to the men and women of Freemasonry, good books, thought throughout the ages, have served noble purposes. We cannot imagine culture or civilization without them. Right here, they're telling you in this opening line, guys, that they have been manipulating the entire world with books. They're telling you in the opening line right here, okay? Good books. Is that readable? Maybe I should scoot it up a little bit more. I don't know. Good books throughout the ages have served noble purposes. We cannot imagine culture or civilization without them. Of the millions of books that have been written, none have ever approached the popularity or the moral influence of the Holy Bible. In preparing this special Masonic edition, the aim was to make it attractive so that it would be read regularly and often with interest and profit to the soul.
Hey, Brian.
So weird. Yeah.
May I allow you to make a suggestion? Maybe you just kill OBS and just kind of show the book every now and then and just read it, because we can't. It's illegible from our perspective. It's all blurry.
Is it? Well, I feel like it'll come through sharp in a minute. No.
Like no, it's been blurry the whole time. So I wonder if it'd be better. Processed? I don't know, dude. I mean, I think that based on the way that YouTube works, it'll probably still be illegible. So I think it'd be better just to maybe like quickly show the page, and then just because I think it's dragging your whole presentation down by having the OBS working. That I don't know. Maybe it's not OBS. I don't know.
Okay, well, maybe I'll just try to read the rest of this page, and then we'll go to this, and then we'll flip it out or something. Okay, so it says, prepare the Masonic edition. Okay, it is hoped that the Masonic material included will answer expressed and unexpressed wishes for pertinent and interesting information about about the fraternity. Many thousands of books, to be sure, have been written about Freemasonry, its history, philosophy, symbolism, purpose, etc. And the student of Freemasonry, with initiative and perseverance, is able to find the precise book or books to satisfy his inquiries. Okay, there are, however, many individuals who do not have access to a good Masonic library, nor have the time nor inclination to gather the information that is scattered in many books. It is to them that we present the concise material included in this Bible. It's designed to answer thousands of questions which arise in the minds of those who wish to be correctly informed about the various Masonic orders, including the Eastern Star, which is the female form of it, the White Shrine of Jerusalem. Again, guys, did you hear that? The White Shrine of Jerusalem.
Interesting. What does that mean?
That's another order of Freemasonry. It's called the White Shrine of
Jerusalem. Oh, really? It's a secret society. It's called the White Shrine of Jerusalem?
The White Shrine of Jerusalem, bro.
That's a new one to me.
Yeah, they're the order that they're actually, I think their symbols on the next page. We'll see it. So the White Shrine of Jerusalem, the True Kindred, the Order of Amaranth, and the Orders of Younger Men and Younger Women. Okay? So again, notice it's very Jerusalem bent, okay? The variety of material presented will prove interesting and helpful to those who a refreshing story of the fraternity. Further, those who have been initiated into Masonic mysteries will be more able to appreciate what they have already received at the altar of Masonry, to be better equipped to discuss intellectually with their friends, brethren, and sisters, and such Masonic matters as many of be of mutual interest. Now check this out. Here you go. Can you see that?
I mean, it's blurry, so we're just obviously taking your word for it that you're reading it correctly.
Okay, well, look at this though. You see the next page? You can see that, right?
Like I said, you're
So
probably delayed. So let's see. We'll wait. See.
it's the images. The white shrine of Jerusalem is right here.
Ah,
So this
okay.
is that's the logo of the white shrine of Jerusalem. Here's the true kindred. Okay, there's the Order of the Eastern Star, which is the female Freemasonry. Here is Ancient Craft Lodge, the Ancient Craft Lodge. This is what they call it, the craft. It's called craft because it's witchcraft, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Consistory, I don't know. Chapter of the Rosicrucians, okay? Council of the Princes of Jerusalem. Do you see that one? It's the scales that you thought were the scales of justice. They're
Oh yeah,
actually it's
yeah, yeah.
actually the
The
symbol.
goddess justice.
Yeah, that's the symbol for the Council of the Princes of Jerusalem. Which, by the way, if you don't know who the Princes of Jerusalem are, those are demons. Side note. Lodge of Perfection. This is the Lodge of Perfection. And this is their symbolism. Okay, and then we got the Chapter of the Royal Arch Masons. And then we got Council of the Royal and Select Masters. And Commandatory of the Knights Templar. Okay, so the Knights Templar is a part of it. And the Ancient Arabic Order of the Nobles of the Mystic Shrine.
Yeah, the Shriners.
I think the Shriners. Yep, the Mystic Shrine. And so again, it's the Supreme Council. I guess I missed that
What's
one
the
from
one that
from
looks like
last
a
one.
shot glass?
This one, that's the Chapter of the Royal Archmasons.
Huh.
Yeah. So just so you know, these are all different sects of the same thing. And notice there's two Jerusalem ones. Okay, the White Shrine of Jerusalem, and we got the Council of Jerusalem. And mind you, this circle pattern of all this stuff is very reminiscent of the Kabbalistic pattern with the circles and the lines. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
For
you're
those that
talking
know,
about like
you
the
know.
stuff that's like the chakras and stuff, kind of like
Yeah,
looking thing.
yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, it's
What's
very.
what's around that the cross?
This has got a rose around the cross.
No,
This has
the
the
other one,
staff.
that one, yeah.
Yeah, that has the staff. The staff that the what's his name has. Let's see, what's his name? The Pharaoh carries. It's just a
Oh
staff.
yeah,
One
yeah.
of those.
What is that
It's a
called?
crook.
Yeah, that's
Crook.
Osiris has that. It's like yeah,
Yeah.
so they're combining like the Osiris risen stuff with the cross.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's
They're combining a
satanic.
lot of stuff. It's so satanic. It's like kind of comical, honestly. An alphabetical sequence. Okay. The books of Old and New Testament. Yeah, this is all just telling you. There's just the things. Okay. Masonic presidents. This is kind of interesting. There have been 34 presidents of the United States of America, and it's interesting to know that 13 of our country leaders have been Masons. Okay, presidents, nor because of their presidency, they were superior Masons. But it was great. It was gratifying to know that almost 40% of our country's presidents have been identified with the devoutness of faith in God, love of brother, and obedience to principle, which are taught and demonstrated in the Fraternal Order of Masonry. And so here's George Washington, which we know that's Zeus, for those that don't know, and James Monroe. It says entered apprentice. Okay, so it says entered apprentice in Fredericksburg Lodge number 4 at
A famous
Fredericksburg.
Virginian like myself.
Yep, Virginia in 1752. Three times declined the offer to become General Grand Master of the United States. Oh, he was very
Wait, what?
prestigious. Yeah, it says it. Yeah, three
What kind of
times he
position is
declined.
that?
It's like a high person in Freemasonry, I guess. It says General Grand Master of United States. So apparently, there's a Grand Master of the United States of America in the Freemasonry stuff.
Might we inquire who that is today?
I would love to wonder who that is. Let's say Elon Musk. My guess. Elon Musk. What do you think? What is your
Maybe.
guess? Elon
Maybe.
Musk. Okay. All right. I don't know. So the United States was made honorary member of Alexandria Lodge, number 39 of Alexandria, Virginia. Elected master described 1788. Elected honorary member of Holland Lodge, number 8. New York City was buried with Masonic honors December. Okay. Confirm, we have comfort in confidence that America will always have such leadership, and we pray that Masonry will continue to intersect the kind of man who could be well president of our country. So this is showing a bunch of the presidents. Anyone you want to read in particular? Should I read Abraham
Ooh, look,
Lincoln's?
there's Honest Abe, who, are we really sure that he's honest?
Bro, I don't know. We should here. Let's read what it says about him. It says the 16th president Lincoln was not a Mason. What? Look at that. The 16th President Lincoln was not a Mason, although a study of his writings and spoken word would suggest that he had personally adopted into their own life the principles and truths which are identified with Masonry. It is authentically recorded that the great statesman had openly expressed to his friends on several occasions a desire for membership in the Masonic Lodge and his intent to apply. His untimely assassination obfuscated this. Well, he was assassinated because he wasn't a Freemason. That's
But
obvious. Why?
come on.
He was,
What was the famous story that I heard was that it had something to do with Albert Pike and the Golden Dawn. That John Wilkes Booth was in the Golden Dawn, and this is this is alleged, mind you, that it was said that it was the those people's goal was to split the United States in two to appease the international bankers.
yeah, that
I
would make
think that actually
sense.
makes a lot more sense as to why there was they actually wanted a split in the country because it was going to be good for you know what usury.
User, yep. Now, there's another very interesting character we should probably read that was very significant. The 26th president was raised in sublime degrees of Master Mason. This is Theodore Roosevelt, okay?
Oh yeah.
In the Manticock Lodge, no, number 806. Manticock. Yeah, I just wonder what's going on there. Okay. Osprey Bay, New York, in 1903. He was made an honorary member of Illinois Masonic Veteran Association, Pentalpha Lodge, number 23 of Washington, D.C. Likewise honored him on June 18th in 1907. He delivered the main address with the cornerstone was laid for the new Masonic temple in Washington, D.C. Interesting. Lastly, the very man of the hour, I would say, is this man right here, Harry Truman. He right here is a, I don't know. Maybe we should read Franklin Roosevelt's as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Read him
Let's
for
Franklin
sure.
Roosevelt. We'll read his too. It says the 23rd president raised a master mason in Hollyland Lodge, number 8, New York City, elected to honorary membership in Stance Lodge, number 24, Washington, D.C. He received the degrees in the ancient accepted Scottish Rite at the Albany Consistory, Albany, New York. He had the unique distinction of raising 3 sons to the sublime degree of Master Mason in Architect Lodge number 519, New York City, which made him an honorary member. So a lot of these people look like they just get honorary brought into a bunch of different lodges. I guess you can be a
Well,
part.
I
You can be
think.
a mason of multiple lodges. It looks
Well,
like.
you kind of wonder. It's kind of like everyone always says that Walt Disney was a 33rd degree Mason, but you can't really find that information. But he was in the Demolay
Oh
International,
yeah, the
like
children.
the children's organization. So I think that, yeah, I mean, the whole thing is like that when somebody says, oh, this person was a Freemason, that's kind of like saying that the old world is Sataria, right?
Yeah,
Like we know this one old world name, so we're going to use it for all of them. So they're not all Freemasons, but Freemasonry is a branch of all the other secret societies. So it's kind of like that, if you're Illuminati, you don't have to be Freemason. You're already higher than they are. So that there's different secret organizations, and there's probably branches of the different secret organizations. So the idea that they would make some guy who was not initiated a 32nd degree Mason, which I believe that's what they say FDR is. I mean, he's obviously illuminated, as they would say, right? They already know.
Yeah. Yep. And this, again, we're reading for those that are joining in. Let There Be Light, the Holy Bible of Freemasonry Holy Bible, for those that are just jumping in. And we're looking at some of the stuff. This is a very fascinating book.
How far into the book do you get to the book of Genesis?
It looks like quite a bit in, dude. And like, honestly, we're just gonna look at a few of the things that I thought were interesting. Okay, this one's interesting.
Reading
Let's
from the
talk
book
about
of
Harry
we're
Truman.
reading from the Gospel of Satan.
Yeah, this is basically the Gospel of Satan.
The
exactly.
Gospel of Lucifer. We'll read through and find out all the masonry stuff.
The Gospel of the light bringer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at the 33rd degree of Harry Truman. Check this out. 33rd president, okay, was made, he was the 33rd president, was made a master mason in Belton Lodge, number blah, 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 Missouri, 1909, because Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Missouri in 1940 was Royal Arch Mason and a Knight Templar. The Supreme Council of the Southern Masonic jurisdiction of the United States bestowed on him the honorary 33rd degree with the title of Inspector General. He was the only president ever honored with the 33rd degree. Isn't that fascinating? This man right here, by the way, is the dude that spawned Israel. Okay? This man is the man that spawned Israel. This is the man that is like responsible for the most acquitted people as a president. He basically but until Joe Biden, he pardoned more people than anyone. He was so sketch, and he helped develop the CIA, right? Truman, right?
Well, I mean, they would have been the OSS, and then they became the CIA.
Yeah, and so he is the man, the most notorious man. He was part of the Knights Templar, okay, and was the only 33rd degree Mason honored. So if you want to know what the real big snakes are, it's probably somewhere in the thing called the Knights Templar, okay, whatever that is.
Yeah. Wait, go back to one thing.
Snakes.
I want to go back to one thing you just said. Did you say that he became a master in 1909?
Yeah, it says, yeah, Lodge number blah of Missouri in 1909 became.
Okay, so he was born in 18. I just had to look this up. He was born in 1884. So in 1909, that dude would have only been in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild that they would make somebody a master at that early age.
Yeah, well, that's because he's indoctrinated for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely some generational stuff right there.
Yeah, and by the way, if you guys ever find books like this, Freemason stuff, the interesting parts aren't just reading through it, it's actually in the beginning of the book, okay? Just so you guys, you don't have to go reading through the entire Bible to find all the secrets. Like, there's probably secrets within this thing that are kind of unique and interesting, but the real interesting stuff is really just the beginnings of the books, just so you guys are aware, if you guys are wanting to look into this stuff yourself. Again, I wouldn't recommend picking up these books. There's probably demonic curses on it, and I'm pretty sure whatever that is definitely some kind of witchcraft thing. And there's a few other witchcraft things like that. What is this? I don't even know. This was in there. So this is some creepy drawing of Jesus. I don't even know.
Oh gosh.
Disturbing.
That looks like Lemmy from Motorhead or whatever.
I don't know, but there's another one of these voodoo crosses in here. Again, I rebuke every demonic spirit and thing. Voodoo doesn't work on me, because but some people might get affected by this kind of stuff. You are protected in the name of Jesus if you're watching this right now, by the authority of Christ that's in me. I reject and rebuke any demonic spirit that's trying to attach to anybody watching this right now. So you guys are okay to watch it, but be cautious digging into this kind of stuff, because yes, demons can attach to things like this, and there is so much symbolism in here, dude. This is like I haven't even got to Genesis yet. Okay, here's Genesis. Okay, this is all the Gospel of Satan right here.
Yeah,
like the first whole section of this whole book is the Gospel of Satan. And by the way, it says the creation of heaven and earth, 3 of the light. It says creation of heaven and earth, 3 of the light. 6 of the earth separated from the waters, 11 made fruitful, 14 of the sun, moon, and the stars, 20 of the fish and fowl, 24 of beasts and cattle, 26 of men, and the image of God, 29 the appointments of food. Appointment of food. Well, I don't know what this Freemason garbage here is. So apparently, the gospel of Satan's woven into this text throughout the whole thing.
Well, it's like the Schofield Bible, except for Freemasons write the notes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, the Schofield Bible.
Yeah, it's
probably the same thing.
Yeah, probably.
Probably the same thing, but who knows? It says the serpent deceived Eve, 6 man's shameful fall, the serpent cursed, promised seed, punishment of mankind. There's probably like hidden little nuggets of curiosity throughout here that are probably changed. I would love to talk about King Solomon in this. I would probably read through all of Solomon's stuff and the writings related to Solomon.
Oh yeah, they would be adoring everything he did.
Yeah, so there's probably a whole set, like King Solomon, when you get to him in this book, it's probably very fascinating. Ruins of the Tabernacle Garden at Babylon. Oh, that's so interesting. Look at that. They got a photo in there of that. That one's fascinating. Oh, and there's Jesus. No, wait, that's Herod. Looks like Herod for sure. Nehemiah and the Persian court of Artaxerxes.
Oh, okay, Artaxerxes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
Artaxerxes is the one who declared to rebuild the temple.
Got it.
It's kicking off the 70-week prophecy that we believe has been fulfilled, by the way.
The only image in the text. Look at this. Oh, whoa, look at this. A few other images. So the only other image, minus that one, is the Sermon on the Mount. What is this? Some print of an older biblical text incorporated in here. It looks like. I don't know what this is about. That's pretty cool.
Aside from all the weirdness of the Masonry text, but you got to admit, it's like the older books you grab, they're way more cool. They're way cooler than anything that we have. Like that, I have an old Bible as well that, yeah, they have tons of illustrations in them and stuff like that. You're like, man, we just get like these days. It's just the bare bones, ain't it?
Yeah. David Street, a main thoroughfare in modern Jerusalem. It's so fascinating. Second Epistle of John. That's weird. At the very end, the third Epistle of John.
Yeah, why is that picture there? Jude. That seems strange.
Yeah, it's so weird. And then Revelation. Wow. Okay. Well, it's very fascinating. Let's continue forth in the scriptures of Satan. And we'll just add a few more things before we get into some other interesting parts here. It says the Masonic archaeology. It says an instruction as old as the Freemason obviously had a history that extended so far into the past that there is difficulty in separating authentic facts from mere legend and traditions. A considerable amount of this tradition, however, serves a good purpose, which is why we got this. And we're going to go through this, guys, and I'm going to check things like the moon landing. And we're going to see what the Masons were involved in certain dates. So if anybody has dates they want me to look up at any point in time, which, by the way, this book talks about Jesus, okay? And they basically say that Jesus was the Freemason. I'm going to tell you right now, this is it right here. We're going to read this in a second. And it's hilarious. But I've
heard people say that Jesus was a Mason. You're like, no, he was a carpenter.
Yeah.
And plus, it's like, the funny part about it is like that you had, and I think this is where the lives really come in, is that you had the original Freemasons were actually Masons. Like they were actually construction workers. But then what do you have? Is it like theoretical Masonry or whatever they call it, or non-practicing, whatever they call it now? It's like that these people are, or is that hypothetical? I'm not even sure exactly how they phrase it, but the Masons now obviously don't build anything except for a house of lies. So try to say that Jesus, Jesus was a Mason. No, I mean, the Bible talks about that his dad was a carpenter. It mentions, I just read in the Gospel of Nicodemus, it mentions that he was a carpenter. He was not a Mason.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll get into that, and it's very fascinating. So guys, if you have curious dates that you want me to look up about what Masons believe, this book is, again, the handout that the Freemasons get, where they tell them the fake history that we all are sold. This is the bullcrap history that they've sold us all. And it basically alludes to the fact that Masons have been involved in some really sketchy things. And so if you guys have a date, you're like, hey, check 17. I did. I'm going to totally check 1776, guys, with you. Which, by the way, but get ready, Rebecca. I saw that, and other people. We're going to go through some very interesting dates. There's a few I want to mention in this, though, before we bust that one out, is Masonic archaeology. Although it is impossible to distinguish history facts from mere legends in Freemasonry, we may, however, use the latter as vehicles for formulating the doctrine and philosophy of the craft. Okay, guys, notice they call it the craft because it is witchcraft. Okay, and you'll notice that in here it's called the craft over and over and over because it is witchcraft. It is 100% witchcraft, but they call it the craft. It's so ironically funny. They are inseparably connected with the development of Masonic dogmas. With reasonable caution, their employment of this purpose only merits discussion and investigation here. Okay, popularly known as the legend of the craft. Okay, it's hilarious to me. Commingled historical and symbolic ideas are, after all, the root springs of the Masonic system. Okay, this is what I want to say. The Masonic system of philosophy. Now, here's something interesting. I'm going to just turn off my camera for a second. So, guys, just so you understand that, like, Freemasonry and witchcraft is the same thing. Okay, it is the art of manipulation. It's not called arts and crafts. It's magic arts and witchcraft. Okay, just to clarify, this is witchcraft. This is like, and they believe a historical thing that they have given us that is a total nonsensical lie. They helped establish Israel, the fake Israel that we have in the world today. They've helped create all of this stuff of the chaos, all right? They are calling themselves the craft for a reason, because it is the craft. And by the way, when you join Freemasonry, you're also given a book similar to this book, and you're given a book that has a bunch of spells in it in other languages that you don't understand and know, and you're actually ordered to remember and memorize these spells in order to move to higher degrees. And their spells are broken up words and phrases in Latin. This is how spelling and witchcraft works, but people don't understand this. They think it's silly. Oh, you're just saying silly sounds and noises out your mouth. No, there is a significance to spells and spell casting, okay? Like it says in the Bible, it says the power to speak life and death is in the tongue, and those that master it eat the fruit thereof, okay? So in Freemasonry, they'll have you quote things like broken apart words like Balenciaga, right? So they'll have you memorize these lines of text to move to the next degree, and you'll be like Balenciaga, and you don't know that what you're saying is Baal is Lord. You have no clue. And this is part of the initiation to move to higher degrees. You have to announce these spells, and these spells invoke demons that go into you, okay? And when the demons go into you, then that demon has an authority to influence your life. And this is why they give you more power at a certain degree. They're like, we know once you've made it to 33, you have announced so many spells. You have so many demon lords that have been evoked into you that could potentially control you. We have control over you. And the demons are like, hey, yeah, we'll use this person. And that's why some of these are honorary Masons. Like they're being honorary Masons because they already got the demon somehow in them. They didn't need to say the spell. They did it some other method. You can do other methods. You can go sacrifice animals and get a demon evoked into you, and you probably become an honorary 33rd degree Mason if you practice sacrificing a bunch of animals. Okay, they'll just be like, oh, this guy's so full of demons already. Yeah, you're honorary Mason. We've already got you. We've already got you, because they know that the demon's already present. So really, a lot of Freemasonry is a chance. It's like the filtering system for witchcraft, okay? And just so you guys know, this is the whole episode is Freemasonry, I guess. That's what we're doing. Just to get the basis of it, Freemasonry is the filtering system for the occult, okay? It is a filtering system, and it doesn't mean that every Freemason's bad, okay? Like, there's a ton of Freemason people that are totally ignorant of what's actually going on, okay? It is a filtering system. You go through Freemason, and they filter to see how many demons they can get into you and how many things that you can question your reality, okay? And then and how questionable is your ethics and your morals and your principles. At a certain degree, they actually ask you to spit on the Bible. And then they say, oh, spit on the Bible. And if you go, I'm not going to spit on the Bible, they go, congratulations, you're the next degree Mason. And then if you're a 33rd degree Mason, and then they take you to a little room and they do their little ritual and you're congratulated. If you do spit on the Bible, They go, congratulations, you're a 33rd degree Mason, but they take you to a different room. And you don't know the difference as a Mason. You're kept ignorant. So a lot of 33rd degree Masons aren't actually evil people. They're people that are ignorant, got a bunch of demons put into them, couldn't even handle it, and then the cult said, yeah, you're useless. And they get stuck as a 33 degree top level Freemason, and they run their little occult little books and their little places, and they do their little thing, and they run their channels. And by the way, just so you guys know, all the clowns, they all come from the Shriner lounges. I don't know if you guys know that. So Paul, understanding conspiracy, like they have all the Freemason Shriner lounges, they have clown groups. So
yeah,
the
and the
clown
odd
groups,
isn't it? He always talks about the Odd Fellows, right?
yeah, yep. And the clown groups go to thing. Is my audio? Is it showing me by the way, or is it just
No,
showing
it's
you?
not. It's been showing me.
I don't know why it's not showing me. What the heck? It's not showing me.
No.
So weird. Okay, I just see you talking to you, and then whatever. All right, that's fine. But does it show my camera when I switch to the other camera?
When you were showing the book, it was working.
That's so weird. Okay, but everybody can hear us at least. So you just keep smiling and looking pretty. Okay, JT. Just keep smiling, and we'll just make sure that it stays on you at least. At least somebody can be entertained. Maybe you can mouth some of my words.
I thought that might get distracting for you if I was trying to pantomime you.
Oh dang, man! I thought it would be entertaining. You could, at least do my hand motion. You know how I do all my hand motions.
People would assume that I was totally possessed by demons if I was just speaking through me.
Yeah. So, anyways, but this is. Oh wait, is it working? Did it snap? Did it snap to me? I think it snapped to me for a minute. Did it? I see my face. I see my face. Are you guys?
Yeah. You're back. We're
I'm back now. Shoot. Yeah. Okay, so anyways, like I was saying, witchcraft, demons don't want you guys to know this information. Obviously. Wait, it looks like it's on you again. Maybe it's on me. Maybe it's on you. It doesn't matter. Whatever at this point. We'll just keep rolling. I'm just gonna keep going with it. Okay. So, are you talkable? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right, we're just going to keep going. Anyways, all right. So basically, Freemasonry is a filtering system, like I was saying, for witchcraft. It's literally designed to find people that are questionable in their morals and ethics and see if they are people that would be subtly influenceable in demonic ways. Okay? It's a system to put demons into you to then bring you into a higher position. So Freemasonry is really just the peon. It's like the peon cult stuff. It's really not that big a deal.
Well, they always say that the vast majority never make it past the third degree. The third degree is like the cap for like the normal.
Yeah, you can make it past the third degree pretty easily, and
I was just saying like the majority. I'm just saying the majority of Masons never make it past the third degree.
Got it.
And so they know nothing about what they're really involved in.
That's true. But even if you make it to the 33rd degree, you still don't know anything. You can be a 33rd degree Mason and you'll still know nothing because it's the Freemasonry. Again, it's the filtering system for them to find people that are suitable individuals for the occult. So once you make it to the 33rd degree, then you actually leave Freemasonry technically, and you are now initiated into the secret order of the Knights Templar and all the other orders of witchcraft and Masonic stuff, or like the Moose Lodge, which by the way, you guys can just type lodge in your phone. If you guys ever go on your maps and you type lodge in your phone, you will see how many different Masonic order and lodges are around on maps in your area.
Wasn't Fred Flintstone in a Moose Lodge?
I bet he was.
I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know about that.
I'm pretty sure that he was. Did I ever tell you, Brian, what the lodge name was in Asheville, North Carolina, near the Biltmore Estate?
No, you didn't tell me.
It was called Mount Hermon Lodge.
Oh, of course. That's a pretty important one. I bet that would be. I feel like that would be pretty. They would have a lot of Nephilim stuff there for sure.
Mount Hermon. Yeah, that's. They're not very. Well. It's funny because it's like a lot of things that we learn when you know what you're looking at or you know what you're hearing. You realize they're really not very subtle. Like in Mount Hermon, like for us, it's like obviously what we all think about, and obviously what I'm referencing is the book of Enoch that says the Watchers descended down. That's where they made their pact to sin with the women on Mount
Mm-hmm.
Hermon. And Mount Hermon was biblically, like in the New Testament, it was called Caesarea Philippi. And that's
Mm-hmm.
where Jesus was transfigured. That's when he said the gates of hell will not prevail against this kingdom, this church. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what they viewed it was, is like that Mount Hermon was like the gates of hell.
Yeah.
And that's
Yep.
what they named their lodge after. They pass out their
Mm.
Masonic Bibles.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, well, let's continue forth, my friends, because there's a few other things. There's some stuff that this will clarify a few things for those seeking to understand all the craziness. Oh, your blue, your square is still lit up purple, so that's why it's staying on you, JP.
Okay, you were
Mute your
back. You're
mic.
back. I
Maybe
muted
if
it
you mute
once
your
and I
mic,
don't think it helped.
it's staying on you. Okay, well, whatever. We'll figure it out. Okay, so it says the Masonic archaeology. We're back into this section. It says many attempts have been made. Okay, it says the Legend of the Crab, as regarded importance of particular as a historical foundation that is not to be discounted. The defiances are national rather than real. What? Notional rather than real? I don't understand what they're saying. Anyways, many attempts have been made to trace Freemasonry back to the Hooray past. What is Hooray past? What is that? Hoary. Hoary past? I don't know. Weird word. Okay. Of 20 or 30 centuries before Christian era. And while systems of morality and right living were probably being developed in those nebulous days, as regard to Freemasonry, let us be content to agree with Dr. George Oliver when he said, "We may safely as assume that whatever had for this object an end and induct in inducement to practice that morality which is founded on the love of God may be identified with primitive Freemasonry. But modern Freemasonry has gone considerably beyond this, in that it is promulgates also the love of neighbor, the undying principles of neighbor, indeed the undying principles of the craft is love and labor. It seeks, although this was probably unthought of the beginning, to follow the words of Jesus the Christ when he said, "Thou shalt love thy Lord your God with all thy heart and all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it, unto thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the laws of the prophets." Whether we inquire of the history of Freemasonry in England or Germany or France or Italy, we can form a great wealth of evidence in preserved records. Forge a chain that links up the Roman colleagues of artificers. These colleagues were the forerunners of the medieval craftsman guilds. It is probable rather than improbable that organization of builders in stone originated almost as early as their craft. So again, they're alluding that Freemasonry comes from the people that built stone way back before biblical times. So like
Well,
the
they
people
always
that
mention
built
that
all
what.
these things.
Well, they always mention that when Solomon was building the temple, I forgot the
Yes.
guy's name. That yeah, he mentions in the Book of Kings. I think that he was from. Was it Lebanon? That he got somebody from. Was it Tyre?
Yeah. Yeah. Tyre. Yeah.
Yeah, he got somebody. He got a master mason.
Oh, interesting. I didn't hear
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. That's in the Bible. I've heard that guy referenced for sure. Did you mean to be showing the book as you're reading it, or are you showing you
Nah,
because
I was just showing me. But here, I'll show the book. I guess now we'll go back to
yeah, you're
looking
all
at the book
laggy
if we can.
anyways.
The book's prettier than my face. It's all right.
No, it's just all pixelated. So
Uh, we read this account on the characteristics of the Roman College of Artificers. We struck by many parallels which they have with mode. Okay, fraternal Freemasonry. For well bear this mind that we seek to trace the perpetuate of the characteristics throughout many centuries between pre-Christian era and the beginning of the 18th century. We speculative Freemasonry was established on the sound basis and government which it enjoys today. The Roman Emperor Augustus was a great patron of the arts, who particularly encouraged the Roman artificers after his many uh, conquests. He set about to reform the city and improve provinces. To preserve law and order, he stationed his Roman legion throughout the empire in Italy. Okay, so there is a lot here. You know what I'll do? I'll probably like scan some of this and I'll just put it on my website on Demon Racers, and people can just like download it and read through it
Oh yeah,
because
that
there's
would
so
be
much on
that's the way
here.
to go. Yeah,
And
definitely.
then that way I'll scan it. I got a professional scanner thing, so I'll just scan this all in, and then you guys can like just go download and read through it and tell me if you guys find anything interesting, because there's so much in here in this section. I'll scan the whole Bible of Satan, and you guys can get into this, because going through here, look at this: order out of chaos. The builder's art, which flourished and reached its greatest height in the 14th and 15th and 16th centuries, was destined to suffer a sharp decline with the revolutionary changes which took place everywhere as a result of the Reformation. Okay, this is interesting. These changes had a very decided
Hello, guys. I'm not sure what's happening. Brian is missing now. We're having massive technical difficulties with the show, but I'm still here hanging around. How are you guys doing? Brian just dematerialized right before our eyes. Yes. Yeah. So, what do you guys want to talk about? I just did a live stream last night. Maybe Brian will be back here in a moment, hopefully. I think maybe you think he was too close to the mark. You think that talking about a masonry Bible and then giving away their secrets, somebody might have cut his feed. Maybe so. Maybe so. Oh no, the rapture. Did we all get left behind and Brian got taken? Sadly, we know what it says in Luke 17, that the people are taken to where birds eat them. So if we have not been taken, then maybe we're on the good side of this. But yeah, so welcome to Brian Demon Racers Live, Left Behind. You've been left behind. Omnipresence is what I'm looking for in my co-host. Trevor never says, can you just do a chair spin so we can get a full effect of the new haircut? And why not? There's not enough room back here. Is that good? Hopefully that's good enough?
Well, I'm back.
Okay,
Is
well,
it
he's
still
back.
live?
He's back. I've been trying to entertain the peeps. What happened?
Okay, I don't know. The camera just cut out. It was so weird. But at least we're still live, right?
Yeah. I was keeping the people's entertained.
Okay, good. Well, let's
We have to ask them if they're entertained.
well, I think I'm gonna guess. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Okay, all
Mm-hmm.
right. So, is it showing my camera again? Am I
Yeah,
back to
yeah. We're
normal?
seeing the book. It's
Okay,
it's
where did
it's a
I
little
leave
bit
off? Did
blurry.
I leave off of Order Out of Chaos?
Um, I want to ask you about something you talked about before, though. Before you get back into the book, did the Masons really try to say that Caesar Augustus was practicing Freemasonry?
That's literally what it sounds like. I mean, they were basically saying that Augustus a part of the Masonic order, even if he wasn't directly, he was still involved in it to some degree.
That's really, I mean, that's really interesting. I mean, I would think that a Caesar would be something above that, but I mean, of course, it's like how does somebody rise to the rank of Caesar without
Yeah,
being part of? I mean, obviously, we know these secret clubs go back to before the flood,
yeah,
so that's interesting that they're claiming that he's one of theirs.
yeah, for sure. I think that's pretty fascinating. The That's kind of where it left off. I think I left off. Did I mention the Order out of Chaos?
I think so.
Because this is where it says, and it says, this is very fascinating. This whole thing, it literally says the builder's arch, which flourished, reached the greatest heights in the 14th, 15th, and 16th century, was destined to suffer hardship, decline with the revolutionary changes which took place everywhere as a result of the Reformation. These changes had a very decided effort upon the Masonic system. With the decline of building activity came a corresponding decrease in the number of men who sought membership in the lodge as operative craftsmen. Okay, again, craftsmen, but they're referring to the people that build things. Operative craftsmen. With the decline of building activity came a corresponding decrease in the number of men who sought membership in the lodges as operative craftsmen. Men who were not stonemasons were attracted to the lodge, probably because they were aware of the lodge's solicitousness for the members' welfare. Perhaps, too, they discovered that those who had received the benefits of Masonic teachings were men of superior character and qualification. Such men, not operative Masons, were received into the craft as speculative Masons. This innovation seems to have taken place in a number of lodges in England and only prior to 1717. So, for those that don't know, for those that have speculated, the 1776 is when we think maybe Satan might have been let out. So in 1776, they believe the 1700s, there was a lot of stuff that was pretty interesting and unusual going on with Freemasonry. 1700s. Anyways, okay, let's see. At the Runner and Grapes Tavern in Channel Row, Western. Okay, this is very interesting. In England, about the 1700s. So check this out, JT. So in the 1717, it basically says the innovation seems to have taken place. 1717 is when speculative Freemasonry, as in Freemasonry
Oh,
as a
that's right.
cult,
Speculative. That's the word. Speculative Freemasonry.
it evolved from the craftsman Freemasonry, which was people that actually built stuff.
That's
Okay.
because see, this is interesting because the stuff was already built by then, Brian. Right? Do you
Yeah,
get what I'm saying?
exactly. So they said that some supposedly people in 1717 started figuring things out and started being more
Well, they
speculative.
couldn't take credit for actually having to build things at that point, because
Well,
they're already built.
yeah, here's even more fascinating in the statement here. It says the art which flourished reached its greatest heights in the 14th, 15th, and 16th centuries. So they're saying in the 14th, 15th, and 16th, the Freemasons controlled everything. Okay, and they were the best they could be, and they built the most amazing structures. And in the 17th, it all kind of fell off, and then people started becoming, speculative Freemasonry. So realistically, Freemasonry started in the 1700s. Realistically, is
Yeah. Oh,
what it's
yeah.
starting to
Right.
seem
Isn't that
like.
right? I think that the very first lodge is in Londinium, or the city of London. I want to say that it does have an engraving on there that says 1717. So maybe that was the first year of Freemasonry as we know it today, which is not a builder organization.
No, it's a satanic lying organization. Freemasonry by that time had been spread far and wide throughout England and the continent. Although all lodges were operating under the old charges, which were almost identical in content, there was no official connection between any of them. It is probable that some 200 lodges were operating in England about that time. Some of these lodges were still composed entirely of operative masons, meaning people that build rocks, okay, and build buildings, okay. rather than speculative
BS.
Masons. Okay, so yeah, yes, absolutely. We
BS.
obviously think this is trash. Okay, some holy speculative Masons and a good number were composed of both. In England, about the 1700s, the social life of a man was centered in some particular tavern, comparable to our modern club. So in the 1700s is basically when this started. Okay, that's basically what they're getting at, because right when 1700s is when Satan was released from prison. 1776 was his official birthday. We speculate. We are being speculative here, and we're gonna say
we're speculative theorists.
we're speculative about when we think Satan was released, but we're pretty sure it was in the 1700s. Okay, like we're pretty close. Okay, King George, I entered London's most magnificently on 20th of September 1714, and after the rebellion was over, A.D. 1706, a few lodges at London find themselves neglected by Sir Christopher when through fit to cement under a Grand Master, I don't even know, as the center of union and harmony, the lodge that met at the Goose and Gridrun Owl House, St. Paul's Churchyard. And there's like, I don't know. So, anyways, this is they're basically saying in this section that Freemasonry started in the 1700s, even though they're claiming that it's gone obviously much longer, and they had wonderful flourishment of their noble thing, but it started becoming more speculative rather than people that built stuff in the 1700s. There's a clear shift in the 1700s in Freemasonry. Okay, and it's alluding to that. And so there's a lot of stuff in this text that when you start reading, you realize, like, this is Satan's thing when he was let out. Like, clearly 1700. Did you want to say something?
No, yeah, no. I mean, that makes sense to me. It's just that, we've often said 1776 our best guess.
Yeah.
But it could, yeah, I mean, it could have been right around then. I mean, to me, that what this is making me think is that this is right around the time we started getting the history that we have now. Mm-hmm. And like, because of this group who basically, as Brian has that other little pamphlet book that shows us who gave us the history. But I mean, it's sort of weird that they're trying to say that there was this fraternal order of operative Masons, but they didn't have lodges until they became speculative Masons. Yeah, when did these construction workers have all this time to learn all this esoteric garbage?
This is funny because it was like a construction worker guild that this esoteric thing basically infiltrated and started like converting the men of these working men into this narrative of nonsense. Literally, it was just like, just imagine like a bunch of like print houses that print stuff, and then like somebody comes in and says, since you guys are printing everything, like all the media, how about we make ourselves a special club that prints the media? That's basically what has happened. Okay, and they were the Freemason club that got infiltrated by Satan, the people that were building structures, and they took over. They hijacked the term masonry. They literally hijacked Masonic terms and made it a occultic, when originally it was just people that built stuff. That was it. And it was just because the people.
Dude, what if it had something to do with the fact that you had these people that were afterwards, and they were fascinated with the buildings, and so they wanted to learn the knowledge of how the buildings were built.
It could be connected to that.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if you really think about it, so you have the compass and the square, and so they're fascinated with the geometry of the pyramids, all the cathedrals, the old world Greco-Roman stuff, and they said, you want to know how that was actually built? And then speculative masonry is established because, we're going to tell you who knew how to do it and how they knew how to do it, and before you know it, it's like they're in a coffin naked with a bowling ball. It's nothing to do with
coffin naked with a bowling ball. so true and accurate, though. That's the funny part. Okay, so yeah, that's probably, I think it's something like this. I think it's akin to this. Like, people that were building stone structures had techniques for working the stone, so they already had little secrets. And they were like, we're not going to tell you how we're working the stones. We figured out a really cool method and we have special tools. And so they already were like a skill that was basically akin to secrets, because it was like anybody could have done it once you figured it out. But it was like the trick was figuring out how to work the stone. And so they had already a field of it. And then these other people were like, hey, you got a lot of secrets with that stone. You want to know some other secrets? We got a few other secrets. Why don't you join our secret club of secrets? Okay? And we'll give you more secrets.
All
That's
you
what
have
I
to do
think
is get in
happened.
this. All you have to do is get in this coffin
With your bowling ball.
with the bowling ball.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Okay.
I mean, no, I mean, I do think that that's. I mean, I'm joking, but I mean, I do think that that's kind of what's going on. It would kind of make sense that you have this generation of people, kind of like you think about it. We always talk about the eerie pictures from the 1800s of these people, like just like they're lost in these massive cities with Greco-Roman, just gigantic doors and columns and spires and domes and all the stuff that you see in the old world, and you're just like, and just like us, it's like you can imagine there's dirt roads. It's the place is deserted almost, and then you're walking through there, and somebody says, "Do you want to hear about the mysteries about how this previous civilization who built all this stuff?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, yeah." I mean, obviously, I want answers. And then you get initiated into this club, and it's like the carrot, right? They're trying to say, "Oh, we're going to eventually tell you about this." So maybe the guise was Freemasonry. So we're going to tell you about how stuff was built. But I mean, they never get into that. It's all about like Pythagoras and the magic pentagram and all this stuff. It has nothing to do with like, they're not going to eventually tell you how to build anything. They're just going to tell you more. This is the meaning of all this stuff.
This is our secrets.
Yeah, right. This represents this, and it's all this Kabbalistic allegory.
Yeah. Now this is really interesting. Okay, so there's a lot of dates in here, but most of the dates are the 1700s, 1800s, like 1805, 1816. This one's got one date that I saw that was earlier. It was like 1314 supposedly, but again, I don't believe those dates because most of their dates are all 18, 17, 17, 18, 19. And it says like the 1761 Stephen Warren received a patent for the Council of Emperors of the East and West, empowering him to propagate the right of perfection anywhere. Okay, and it's like, and most of the stuff, 1754, November 17th, the following night of the Eagle of the Secret Master illustration, Knights Templar, and what was this? The Knights Templar, ancient except Council of the Royal Sect, the commandery of the Knights Templar. This is the oldest sort of what seems to be this is the one that has the 1300 date. It's claiming to be like basically the Holy Land. Their stronghold in the Holy Land well commanded the leader of the later Crusades, and their organization was zealous and powerful in their fight against the infidel. Terrible rivalries, however, arose between the Knights Templar and the Knights Hospitaller.
Oh, what about so what is it talking about the scenes, right?
It might
the one
be in here, shoot, because it does.
Yeah, because like I mean, gosh, there's a really interesting documentary. I think
this is a fable right here. I feel like I'm reading a fairy tale book from some fan fiction.
Well, I mean, I think that a lot of that stuff is just made up. I think it literally is. There was a really interesting documentary, and before I became on the little season side of things, there's a really interesting, I think about 2-hour documentary. It's called by Leonard Ulrich. I think it's like Matthew 24 and like Biblical Prophecy, or New World Order and Biblical Prophecy. And so it takes you kind of through all the secret societies and the histories of them. And so, I mean, obviously, I think his ultimate conclusions I now disagree with, but it's really informative about like the idea of like what we're told about the Knights Templar and the Essenes when they were like, because what we're told is that the Knights Templar, they had a banking system, but they were also like a protective order for taking care of Christians, right? Because you had these Muslims who were attacking them. But then it turns out that that the Essenes, they were actually some other, so they were supposedly like they're like a Muslim sect of Freemasonry or whatever, these secret
Mm-hmm.
societies. Yeah, they were working together. It's kind of like the mob. It's kind of like, hey, do you want protection from this organization that's going to bust your windows out? And it's like, yeah, like, so
Sure.
if you don't pay them, well, your windows are going to get busted out. So they obviously, just like just like today, they fund both sides.
Yeah.
It's yeah, two sides
It's
of the
very
same coin.
it's very obviously ridiculous. Now, there is something I wanted to mention right here that I noticed that I thought was kind of funny. It says, although the discussion of politics is one of the forbidden subjects in every lodge of Freemasons. Did you know that?
What's that?
I wonder if that's true.
What'd you say?
Although the discussion of politics is one of the forbidden subjects in every lodge of Freemasons, the Mother Supreme Council of the world is using every influence at its command to combat the efforts of any religious group to exert biased pressure or influence in the administration of government. Isn't that fascinating? So they're basically, whoever the Mother Supreme Council of the world is, apparently is trying to keep any one religion from rising above, apparently, according to this, is what they're kind of really saying.
Mm.
The Northern Supreme Council of many years has been spending immense sums of money to foster the education of worthy students. However, its most glorious philanthropical project has been to finance a research program to discover the cause of or a cure for the very prevalent mental aberration known as dementia praecox. What? They just literally said their main focus is to find a cure for dementia. I'm gonna tell you the cure for dementia right now, guys. It's demons, bro. Okay,
It's
it's demons.
Mm-hmm.
That's the like. That's what it is, and it's literally you cast the demons out, and that's how the dementia works. Okay, I'm just
You know, it's
a
funny.
up.
I know I'm like
It's
a broken.
dementia.
I know I'm like a broken record lately. Hey, do you guys remember Lord of the Rings? So I was just watching the Two Towers, and tell me the one king, the king of Rohan. You know what I'm talking about, Theoden.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about when
Yeah.
Wormtongue and
He's
what's his
whispering in
name,
his ear.
Saruman got him under their control. Tell me that's not an old man with dementia.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about, man? He's like
Mm-hmm.
he's there, but he's not there. And then you have the White Wizard, Gandalf comes in there, and he casts the demon out of him.
Wow. Yeah.
Isn't that wild? I mean, like that's what I think that's what they're showing you there.
Bro, wait till I read the rest of it. This is even more fascinating. It says, this disease is the costliest medical liability which this country is facing today. Whereas pneumonia, influenza, scarlet fever, and many other diseases will continue patents for a short while, and then upon recovery enable them to return to normal life again. The case of dementia praecox patients is very discouraging. There has been found no cure for it so far. Once an individual has developed a case of dementia praecox, also known as schizophrenia, dude, do you hear what I'm reading, bro? He must be hospitalized. And although he may live for many years, he must remain in a mental institution for the rest of his life. It therefore follows that the total number of days which dementia praecox patients spend in a hospital exceeds by far the total number of days of confinement of all other diseases combined. This is a staggering fact, but it is true. In an effort to find the cause of the cure for this disease, the Supreme Council of Northern Masonic Judiciary has spent more than 1 million in research. The results have not yet been conclusive. However, tremendous program. Bro, I'm reading about schizophrenia in a Bible.
I know.
Bro.
It's
like,
funny
what?
because I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was thinking, are we still reading out of this Bible? Like, what's happening right now? This is really strange.
Dude, this is, you know what's crazy is that people that do occultic stuff and are involved in it get demons. And guess what demons do to you? They give you schizophrenia, bro.
Well,
Like,
well, Visionary Vet made a good comment over here too. He said, "Dementia, Dementor." Remember thinking Harry
yeah.
Potter?
Oh, it totally is. It totally. But like that's the major issue with these people involved in the occult. They're realizing they get so demonized that they can't even like function anymore because they're a part of this. Apparently, this is a big
Well,
problem
it's like
for
that
them.
word. I mean, it's funny. I didn't even think about that word. It's like that somebody saying that's demented.
Yeah, demon mented,
Yeah, I
dementia.
think that. I mean, obviously, it's related to because I think obviously somebody who has dementia is demented, but you could say somebody. But what I used to always think when somebody said that's demented, it's like that's sick. Like what you're saying, it's not like it's just because this person's confused. It's like what you're saying is sick, like it's demonic.
Dude, this is so fascinating. This is in the book. All I gotta say is this is in a Bible. It's demons, bro. That's definitely gonna be a shirt. We're definitely gonna make the shirt, and it's coming. The shirts are coming. I got the
Yeah,
shirt stuff ordered
Brian
this
said
week.
Brian has
So
he's pushing back the goalposts to when the shirts are coming, but he's still promising that he's teasing more things out that the shirts are coming.
yeah, I got the shirts ordered. I got the stuff set up. So we'll be shirt popping here. And the website got taken down by a bunch of demons last week. So
The mentors.
or the Dementor demons literally took down my website, and I had to like do a bunch of stuff to get my website back up. It's super annoying. Anyways, I think I got it. I'm now paying for some service to keep my website from being hacked. Super annoying, but whatever. It should be good now. We won't have these issues anymore, and now we're more secure than ever. So good to know. All right, let's continue with the Dementors.
Are we
As
gonna?
early as
We
this,
should probably save the other book for next time because we're probably already
maybe,
going pretty late.
maybe we could. Yeah, I guess we could. We'll have to do it. Okay, because this last part we'll do the Red Cross, Constantine, the Royal Order of Scotland, organizations for women, Order of the Eastern Star, which is the women Freemasonry. There's also the Order of the Amaranth, whatever that is, some kind of thing. Again, most of these dates are 1867, 1895, 18, 1922, 21. The True Kindred, which I guess is a woman thing. Organizations for Youth, which is Order of Job's Daughters. And there's also Order of
Job's
Rainbow
daughters are the
Girls.
ones who had sex with him.
Yeah, I know. That's disturbing. Like,
Yeah, that's
it's
weird.
Freemason stuff.
Yeah, the Moabs, the Moabites.
Yep. The White Shrine of Jerusalem. I guess that's a woman.
Oh
thing
gosh,
too,
can you imagine
maybe?
like putting your daughters in some kind of club that had something to do with Job's daughters?
Bro, the Order of Job's Daughters. It is but natural to suppose that the daughter of a Masonic family would seek friends and companionship in an organization which bases its qualifications for membership upon Masonic relationship. One such organization for young women is the Order of Job's Daughters, founded by Miss Ethel. Okay, Wad Mick in Ohama, Nebraska. Okay, mainly organized mate was one of the authority of Mr. Whatever Grand Mason. Among those who's who assisted them were J.B. Fredenberg, most worshipful Grand Master of Grand Lodge, Nebraska. Dude, this is so disturbing, and it's very. I mean, the Order of Rainbow Girls for Rainbow Girls is another organization where they
Oh
basically
my
molest the girls. So, by the way, if somebody was the Order of Job's Daughters, you know what happened to Job's daughters. Slept with their dad. So
Yeah, they
you
got their
obviously
well.
know
Not
what's.
only that, they got him drunk first, and they
Yeah,
got impregnated by their dad.
yeah.
I mean,
So
it's
that should
one of the more
that right.
disturbing parts of the Bible.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, bro, this is why would you name an organization after that? This is so comically like
Um,
evil and
and
like,
before and
bro,
before that, remember, uh, Job offered his daughters to the Sodomites.
yeah, even more,
He
yeah, and
offered his virgin
to the
daughters
Nephilim ones.
to the men so they would not have sex with the angels.
Oh my gosh, so disturbing. York American Rite. So this is the York American Rite. This is the Knights Templar, which is at the top. The Knights of Malta, also up there. The Knights of the Red Cross. It
Oh,
says Commandery of Knights Templar.
I'm completely brick. We're wrong about that. We were thinking of Lot's daughters. It was Job's daughters. Wait,
Oh,
Job's
you're
daughter.
right.
You know what? I take back everything I said. I guess
Yeah,
Job's daughters were probably fine. I don't know if it was the first batch of daughters. I was thinking lots. I don't know why I thought Lot's daughters.
I thought that too, though. So I don't know. Maybe
We
yeah, we were
instantly
off.
made that wrong connection. But I
Oops.
apologize. Whatever I
Apologize.
said about Job's daughters. Job was a righteous man. Lot was
Yeah, but
actually a
Job's
righteous
daughters all
man.
died. Job's daughters
Well,
all died.
well, it said that in the book of Job that his all his kids died, but then he had twice as many kids after that, and he did have the most beautiful daughters. So
Oh well,
I'm sorry,
you know,
guys. We get it wrong occasionally, and this is
we
one of
mess
those
up. Yep.
times.
Oops. All right. Okay. So Red Cross of Constantine. This says the Council of the Royal Sect of Masters, Supreme Excellent Master, Select Master, Royal Master. But if you notice, the Knights Templar is the number one highest order up here, guys. Just so you know, it's like the number one. It says ancient Arabic order of nobles of the mystic shrine. They're also tethered to the highest order of this. Okay, chapter of the Royal Archmasons. So there's like multiple secret societies. They all kind of merge together. The Ancient Craft Lodge, the Fellow Craft, the Master Mason, and Master Mason's way here at the bottom, guys. Just so you know, the Master, Past Master. So the Master Mason is here. So this is 33rd degree Mason. They're way down here. Fellow Craft, and the only thing below them is in Apprentice, the entranced apprentice. So if the Master Mason, your 33rd degree Mason, is here, this is how much you have above that. Do you see? This is 33rd degree Mason. This is fellow Mason. This is less than 33rd, and this is apprentice. Okay, this is the beginning, and all of the secret society stuff happens after Freemasonry. Okay, Masonry and the American Revolutionary War. I'm sure that's fascinating and a bunch of bullcrap stuff that they've like tried to put into here. Masonry and the formation of the United States. Oh. Maybe we'll have to save this to next. We're gonna have to save this to next. Prominent Masons. Okay, Andrew Jackson, James Monroe, James Knox Pollock, James Abraham Garfield, William McKinney, Andrew Johnson, Abraham Lincoln. It says again 16 president. It says he wasn't one. Okay, James. Okay, Warren Harding, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. There's a whole lot more about him. Harry Truman. This is the one I want to read about because this dude was obviously the very questionable man. So I guess we're going to have to come back because we're already over our limit here and JT's got to go. So we'll be back, guys. For our
Yeah,
next
there's a lot more to
episode.
dig into. Obviously, this is absolutely
We didn't even
wild
get into
that this
this.
is a Bible.
Bro, this is so fascinating. That's the Bible. And there's so much more. And we're a little bit more here, and then we get into some of these things where, I don't know, breast is for some reason a big term in here. And some weird symbolism, which again, shooting star and some weird witchcraft drawing on. I don't know what this is drawn on. This feels like skin. Honestly, it's kind of disturbing to me. Okay, we're just gonna throw that away. We can ignore that. Canopy, capestone. Yeah, there's so many terms. And again, more witchcraft items. So the fellow craft. It says this right here. Fellow craft word here at the top. So faith, faithful breasts. Weird. Feasts. Extent of the lodge. Yeah, I'm probably gonna scan this in, guys, for you, and I'm gonna make this a book that you guys can download. This whole book of Satan with the little star pentagrams.
The Gospel of Lucifer.
We'll call it the Gospel of Lucifer. Like I'll see if I can scan all of this. It's quite a bit to scan into here up till Genesis. I'll scan it all in and then
Yeah,
I'll
that's a
just
lot.
have it for a download. And you guys can download this stuff, go through it with us, and see if you can find some secret information. And this book, which is not a book, I'll also have to scan in because it's got so much information into it that I can't wait. So the next episode on Ancient Angels, we will be tackling some more of the Mason and the foundation of the United States. So I'm gonna bookmark us here, and yeah, we'll be digging into more of this. Let me get my camera back on. We'll be digging into more of this. I hope everybody's enjoyed watching this so far. If you guys have questions, write them in the comment. I don't know. I wasn't able to really check every quite. I was like so stuck reading, guys, and I'm slow at reading already as it is, so I apologize. But we do have 241 people watching this very fascinating breakdown of a Masonic Bible and more historical stuff. So basically, what we've come to as a conclusion is that the Masons have created our false history, or these people claiming to be the Masons, or whatever you want to call them. This order of satanic demonized individuals who are fighting schizophrenia because they can't stop it because demons take over the person's body when you start worshiping them demons too much. And it's like, I just think it's so crazy that's even in the book right there. And dementia, demon mentia, okay? And they've been fighting this, and they can't stop it, and they are apparently, worshiping demons, and I don't know what else. But did I miss anything?
No, I
It's a
think
good
that's it.
synopsis.
I think obviously it's absolutely fascinating that that's in a Bible, and yeah, obviously we just scratched the surface. So yeah, if Brian scans some of these things in, and next time I think maybe hopefully we'll have less technical difficulties and we can show a little bit more of it. But yeah, I'm really interested to break some of this stuff down. I'm sure after if Brian sends me some of that stuff, I can kind of go over it a little bit too, and I can find some of the secret stuff that they don't really want us to know.
Yeah, and I think figuring this out is kind of key. I mean, it makes a huge, like, this is like who created the lie that we all believe that our history is. And I think the Masons are to blame. I would say they're the ones that have been writing our history. They're the ones that have been the arm of this elite force that's connected to creation of Jerusalem and all that stuff. This is the secret organization that started writing our history. Just so happened to be right around 1700s when they started getting more popular, and they're all their false history stuff, which is very, very fascinating. But yeah, anyways, well, next time, and it might be tomorrow, I might jump on and do this book without JT if he's busy. I might jump on tomorrow and just try to do it for a minute and go through, because there's so much here. I don't want to make it like us drawn out with all this stuff all the time, but I'm going to try to get as much of it out there for people to know, so that way we can discover the truth of where these lies all kind of began. That's my goal, at least. Anyways,
That sounds good. Well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Obviously, this was a lot of fun.
yeah, absolutely. And anything in the comment I need to read, you guys go ahead and write comments right now, and I will read them, because I know I wasn't paying attention to the comments at all trying to read. This is way too difficult for me to do this. I suck at reading. And thank you so much for the donations. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. And I saw a $20 donation by somebody. I don't know who, but you're awesome, and I appreciate you so much. And I can't find it in the chat, otherwise I would mention it by name. But oh my gosh, Max Pax, Mad Pax, love it. You're awesome. Always coming through with the donation. I appreciate you so much. And yes, and you guys are amazing. And that was there was a lot there. Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, sorry about that.
You guys might need to
And
watch it more than one time to kind of go back over some of the stuff.
yeah, yeah. Well, hopefully, I got it there. Hit me up. I'll help however I can. Okay, cool, awesome, Trish. Yeah, and I'm gonna like I said, I'm gonna try to scan this in and put it on my website so you guys can download this and go through it. And if you find and discover cool stuff, you guys, what we'll do is we'll like have another stream, and I'll just put it in the comments, and I'll just like, I don't know, read out your cool comments that you guys have discovered or pin things as you're going through it. So that way, if you find cool stuff, we can expose it together, because this would be pretty freaking awesome. I'm pretty sure this is like one of the, I think this is not maybe the main linchpin, but I think this is definitely a linchpin, is the belief, is the Masonic manipulation. But yeah, anyways. Oh yeah, you tease me. Yes, I know. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you seeing my heart. I try not to be too too loud and obnoxious, and I laugh at things, and I'm sorry for laughing at people if I'm not good laughing at things. I don't mean to be obnoxious. I need to be more like Jesus, and I apologize if I'm not. But thank you guys so much. You're all awesome. I hope this was interesting, and I hope this is cool. Maybe you can share it with some people in Freemasonry. I don't know. Maybe not, because they might try to like hunt us down or something, but who knows. Um, I would say there's many types of Freemason Bibles. I have to think to myself, totally different in the way they look. I will look into them and find that very cool. Yeah, it is very interesting when you're looking into this stuff. What you guys share. Some things may look cool but lead away from the truth. We're very much aware. We think this is all satanic. So that's it. My live stream stopped. So I guess we're out.